Alright folks, we're back to a new game. Urban Battle Main Square by Forsage Games, and I gotta thank Pre-Drag and Dragon for sending this to us. It is not officially out yet. This is a sample game. But you gotta like this. Here it is, you've got the main square, says trial edition, and you gotta like the inside box to reflect the actual map. So, and unlike many European games, it's a good box. And your back cover, which neatly makes it easy for the player to see and the prospective buyer. Okay, unit chart. Lots of vehicles in this. Look at this. You got your front, side, and rear armor. Well, did you expect that for this game? I don't know if you did. And look how many different kind of vehicles there are, to include anti-aircraft guns. So it tells you these folks really have thought about your different types of firepower for both basic game, realistic, then the absolute mode, weapon type, because, well, a heavy tank bulldozer will have a turret, but a tank destroyer, like a Jagd Panther, has a hull gun. Again, neat thinking. Neat thinking here. You use to move turns along for parabolic fire, i.e. mortar fire, artillery rounds. And if you miss, you then spin this and see which of the 8 hexes from your intended target that it hits. Pretty clever little piece, isn't it? Well made. Well made again. I like what these guys do. Okay, now let's get to vehicles. First we have the cheaper option, the molded ones. Molded, okay? My God, it's a tank recovery vehicle. You like that? Okay? It's a tank. It works. Right? It works. Now, here, our tank destroyer. Except these are the more expensive ones because the turret moves. And you can put flags in top of these. That's why you have that. Or in the back of it. Tank again. The turret moves. Here, we have an artillery piece. No, the gun doesn't move. I didn't fuss about that because it's like when you built model ships and the guns and the turrets never really stayed up. Okay, the 3D printed pieces, as they note here, the tanks with rotating turrets are the more expensive option. And here are your flags and your bases for where headquarters are. Your molded playing pieces, cheaper option. More expensive. Well, I'm going for more expensive. And of course, there's gray. We have a gray kitty, so we tend to like gray. And then we've got, this is what? Green. So, okay, 2 different shades, works. And let's go ahead and put tanks on the map board. And we'll get more in tune with the map board here in a moment. Okay, the brown really stands out. Gray stands out well enough. What do you think? Works for me. Now, how do you know when a vehicle dies? You have these black pads that you slip underneath the vehicle. Now let's look at the game here. Where it came from. It comes from Panzer Strike. Panzer Strike was a dopey little game. Except we loved it. And dopey seems that it would seem that it was that way at first, except when you look at it, because it had things like Table Charlie, Tiger 2, Panther, Panzer 3, then your Jumbo, Firefly, and Hellcat. So you actually had gun values, armor values, value in terms of game points. This was pretty well thought out for because look at the map. Here's your Panzer Strike game map. Ta-da! And now look at the same game map here for Urban Battle. So, and here's your original ruler for Panzer Strike. What happened here was that Panzer Strike and some of the other games merged and became all grown up. Now, you notice I put my ruler together here. These are actually to hold your map board together. A la Panzer Blitz. You could probably use the Panzer Blitz ones, but... So, do you like the map? I find it well enough. It's in squares. I no longer blanch about squares, and there's the game rules. And this is handy to go ahead and try to determine lines of sight. Now, lines of sight for certain things and range. Okay. Oh, these dice, they are for the original Panzer Strike. They are not with this game. Let's talk some about the rules a little bit for this game. Of course, you got your... Every round, a unit can move or fire, okay? But a limited number of vehicles can be moved in every turn according to the number of active vehicles you have. And it also means how many movements they have. All right. You have terrain specific. You have different firing modes. Direct fire, lines of sight, distance, firepower dependent upon the kind of gun it is, armor value. I mean, this is... The main battle one is more thought out than you might think. And parabolic fire, i.e., your ranged fire. But to fire these, you need to have somebody that has a line of sight to it. So if you can't locate the target, you can't fire at it. Of course, you know, they show you here in the rules, distance. They then go ahead into armor zones for the more, and of course on parabolic fire here, into your more realistic, because there are, as they say, the game can be altered and enhanced by applying different rules, but play the first few without them. Well, you can push a vehicle. You can remove them as an obstacle. Random speed, which means then you roll a die to determine. It's well thought out, folks. I mean, and then of course, there's the brochure in terms of missions, i.e. scenarios, to include anti-aircraft ones and a bomb in a building that the one player or the other wants to get to and prevent the other from getting there. Are you enthused? Well, I was enthused. I was very enthused by the original Panzer Strike. I thought it was an amazing little game. It was a lot of fun and had far more meat to it than you would have ever given it credence for. So, what do you think? I'm looking forward to this. Something light, something that's not in East Prussia, as my last two games have been from Decision Games with Battles in the East, Volume 3, which of course we bought. So, I thank these people for sending it. I thank them for their trust as always. We also just recently got their World War II air game. We'll be getting that one up as well. Thank you, folks. You have a blessed one.